Hey animal enthusiasts and pet hobbyists, it's Joel here again, and today I'm going to be attempting to grow live moss. Right, so the first step I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding a drainage layer to this little container that I got. Probably going to be a little less than an inch, but the drainage layer is going to help keep the water from keeping the soil too moist, and it could prevent the moss from getting too soggy and dry and dying out. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that right now. Alright, so I've added the gravel enough to make sure that it was completely covered. So now what I'm going to add is I'm going to get a mesh, or I'm going to add mesh to the top of the gravel so that it could prevent any soil from getting into the drainage layer. And I'm going to be using a weed stopper for the mesh. So I'm just going to measure out the length I need. Right, so I've cut out the drainage layer. Now I'm just going to put it over the gravel, just like that. And now on top of this is going to be the soil. So for the soil, I'm going to be using some eco earth. The eco earth is just going to be a little layer right here. And then on top of that, I'm going to be using some dried sphagnum moss from or terrarium moss from ZooMed. That's just going to encourage the growth of new healthy moss. So yeah. Alright, so this is the eco earth added. Now on top of this, I'm going to add the dried sphagnum moss and a bit of dried pillow moss. I'm just flattening this out. Right, that looks good. Alright guys, so I've added the layer of dried sphagnum and pillow moss. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it down a little bit, get it nice and damp so that I could put the live moss on top of it. Alright guys, so it's really damp and compact. So now I think it's time to add the live moss. I actually ordered this live moss online, and it looks to be a couple different species. This looks to be some type of fern moss. So I'm gonna put some over here in the corner, some right here. This is, I'm not even sure. Kind of looks like pillow moss that's starting to sprout. Gonna put it on this side. This one looks like more pillow moss. Put it next to that one. And then there's this species. So here's the pillow and the fern moss. I believe this one, let me see. I think this one's mood moss, that's what it's called. I've never seen it before, but it looks really nice. So I'm going to just place it on this side, and then the pillow moss, or the fern moss on this side too. Alright, so now that it's nice and damp in here and compact, I'm going to spray it some more. So yeah, I'm just going to try to encourage it to grow some more. If I need more space, I'm going to buy another container. But yeah. Alright, so what I'm using to spray the moss, this is just distilled water. You want to get it really nice and moist in here. And out here it's really humid, and that's what these mosses like to grow. They like it high in humidity. And I actually have a hygrometer like you use to check the humidity levels. I just know it's going to be high, so I don't really need it. Right, so I just got to make sure that the temperature doesn't rise too hot. And you could also use rainwater, but I'm just using pure distilled water or pure water. And I wouldn't really recommend tap water depending on where you live, but I mean it does have chloramines and chlorine, unless maybe you could use a fish dechlorinator. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna put it inside and have a light fixture over it. I'm going to be having this lid over it just to keep the moisture inside, and it could recycle the water. And yeah, if I see that they're starting to sprout spores, I'm going to remove the lid. But yeah. Alright, so you might be wondering why I'm growing moss, and the answer is because, well, first I have frogs and I kind of want to grow moss inside their terrariums. So I'm gonna first propagate it through here as it grows. And secondly, I've been watching some YouTube videos of terrariums being built with moss, and I wanted to try it out because it looks really pretty. And also, like, I've always been fascinated with moss and how it grows and how it's a little bit different than plants, although they're both autotrophs. But yeah, I just thought I'd try this out. This is something different, a little new. I've never done this before. So yeah. Alright, so I've decided to keep my moss container on the windowsill, and here it could get enough sunlight for it to keep growing, and it's a little warm to keep the humidity up, and I could just come here and spray it every now and then to make sure it's nice and moist. But yeah, so it looks like it's doing pretty well.